and we have or, so that means union. We have thus shown that this is a subset of this union. Now we will show the converse. Okay. Conversely, let y belong to, here also the argument will just be these ones in the opposite order. Then x belongs to a prime or x belongs to b prime. Which means x belongs to S and x does not belong to A, or and x does not belong to B. Okay, so in any case x belongs to S, so let us write that first. And then something else is happening. Either x is not belonging to A or x is not belonging to B. Okay, now again, if x is either not in A or not in B, then it definitely cannot be in their intersection. Which gives us x belongs to the complement of the intersection. Hence, any element in this union of the complements is contained in the complement of the intersection. So combining this containment and this containment, we have equality, the first De Morgan's law. There is actually no first or second, it appears in this order here. Okay, now one can prove this one in much the same way, just by considering elements and figuring out what's going on. But what I am thinking is that can I somehow use this one to prove this? Is that possible? Let me just think, okay. If I replace A by A prime, this will become okay, this will become A intersection B, right? And this will become intersection B. Okay, let me just try. One can easily prove that for any subset C of S, the complement of C is nothing but C itself. Okay, it's very easy to show that this is the case. If you take complement of a set and then take complement of the complement, you get the set back. And we are going to use this. I don't know if I will be able to get this one using this one and this one, but let me just try. Let me see what happens. In part A, we replace, you see, part A is true for any subsets A and B of S. So in place of A, if I write A complement, in place of B, if I write B complement, that is, instead of A and B, I am taking A complement and B complement. They are also subsets of S. So then also it will be true. We replace A and B with A complement and B complement respectively. This gives us what? On the left hand side, we will have this A complement intersection B complement complement. On the right hand side, we will have A complement complement union B complement complement. Okay, so that's what we get. And this is equivalent because we can move from here to here, and whatever we will get here, from there also we can move back to this. Okay, the left hand side I can't do much, it has to be kept like that. On the right hand side though, using this thing that we are suggesting, we will have this. Okay, so that means I have this. Now these two sets are equal, so their complements will also be equal naturally. Now taking complements on both sides, taking complements on both sides, we get A complement intersection B complement and then again complement. On the right hand side we have A union B complement. Now here on the left hand side we again use this fact that complement of complement equals the set itself. Which implies A complement intersection B complement equals A union B complement. Is it the thing that we were yes, see, we have got what we wanted. So instead of again going through all the things, just by cleverly using this extra identity and the previous one that we have already proved, we have achieved the other one. So that's how we can save some labor. So this completes the solution. Right, so next exercise 5. This I think anyone who has got, anyone means if you have seen set theory in school, there is no doubt that you have come across this. It involves the number of elements in the union of two sets. You will see that here you will get a familiar formula which you already know. For a finite set C, let O of C, order of C, denote the number of elements in C. Okay. If A and B are finite sets, prove this. Order of A union B equals order of A plus order of B minus order of A intersection B. While going through naive set theory, we came across this one, and there I mentioned that there I suggested that the viewer prove it for himself or herself. I don't know if anyone went through it or not, so now we are going to do it anyway. Okay, so for this we will need some identities, and those identities I am not going to prove. They can be proved very easily, so I will leave them out. It's easy to show that the sets A minus B, A intersection B, and B minus A are mutually disjoint. In fact, while going through the text part of this section, I think we have already said this thing, are mutually disjoint, and the following identities hold. So what identities? Number 1, A union B equals A minus B, union A intersection B, union B minus A. This is one thing. Number 2, A equals A minus B. Yeah, this definitely has come up, and I have also shown the proof roughly, sketchily. Just like that, B equals B minus A union A intersection B. Okay. Now you see, now what is the thing here? This is our A, this is B. This much is A minus B. This is A intersection B. and this is B minus A. They are mutually disjoint. There is between any two of them there is no element in common, and their union is A union B. So don't you think that if we collect the number of elements in these three sets, add them up, we will get the number of elements in A union B? Because that's just common sense. Now if you have say 5 balls in one bag, 2 balls in another bag, and then again 5 balls in another bag, then you can add them up to get the number of total balls. It's just like that, 5 plus 5 10, 10 plus 2 12. So it's just like that. The fact that these sets are disjoint, mutually disjoint, and their union is A union B allows us to count the number of elements in A union B as the number of elements in A minus B plus the number of elements in A intersection B plus the number of elements in B minus A. Okay, and the same can be said about these two other identities. Hence we write like this: A minus B plus note that the fact that these sets are mutually disjoint is very important here, because if there is some element common between two sets, then we cannot add the number of elements, because the common element will then be added twice and that will increase the number. Okay, we won't get the actual number. So this is one thing. Like that, order of A equals order of A minus B plus order of A intersection B, and order of B equals order of B minus A plus order of A intersection B. Now it's a matter of simple algebra. Thus, we take the first one, order of A union B is equal to, okay, so in place of order of A minus B, we can use this identity to write order of A minus order of A intersection B in place of this, and that comes from the second relation. So here we write order of A minus order of A intersection B, and this is coming from this relation, plus order of A intersection B, it stays like that, and just like this one, using the third relation, in place of order of B minus A, we write order of B minus order of A intersection B. Okay. Now if you look at this carefully, two of them cancel each other and we are left with what we wanted. Order of A plus order of B minus order of A intersection B. This is fine, this is okay. So we have actually gone through all the things logically and we have got what we wanted, but actually what is going on, to see what is going on, you again you think of the Venn diagram, right? Or it is better to take an example. Yes, that will be much better. say A has these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and B has 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. To make the situation more general, we are taking different sizes of the sets. So here we have the elements 1, 2, 3, 4 and then we have 5, 7, 8. So in total actually how many elements do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 elements. So order of A union B from the set A union B itself, it should be 7. But what is order of A? Order of A is 4, which is coming from these 4 elements. Order of B is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if we add these two numbers, we get 9. We are getting 2 extra, but why? See, that is because while we have considered 4 here, this 3 and 4 contributed 2 to this 4. 1 and 2 also contributed 2 to this 4. But again this 3 and 4 have also contributed 2 to this 5. So if we are adding 4 and 5, we are adding 3 and 4 have been considered twice. We don't need that. So that's why, since we are, you see, we have to consider the intersection only once. It will be considered once when we take the number of elements in A, and again it will be considered when we take the number of elements in B. So we have to subtract it once to counteract that, to counter that repetition. So that's why we take minus A intersection B. If we do that, then this will be minus 2, and then we will get 7. So that is the reason the formula looks like this. Okay, so that's the conceptual understanding. Okay, then we have